Helloing there! My name is John from the channel with the freakishly long name, also now officially known as a sellout.
And why is that, you may ask? Well, the kind people over at QRD sent me over their Spark N5 gaming controller compatible with PS4, PS3, PC and mobile devices. This was something I couldn't say no to because I've always been on the lookout for a dedicated controller for my PC and mobile phone in particular, so this was definitely a no-brainer. But what do you actually get here? Well, if you must know, you get a box, because this is what humankind's evolution led us to. And inside said box, we get the controller.
Hey! Look, there we have it! Look at that! It's a controller!
A USB-C cable, a clip that attaches to the back of the controller for your mobile phone, and the manual, because we all know I'm going to be reading this thing.
This is not English!
So let's start off with the beautiful bundle of joy you'll be making the most use of out of this entire package, the controller. As you can see, the design is pretty much akin to if the Xbox Series X controller and the PS5 controller decided to get it on. The shapes, triggers, and bumpers are all Xbox, but the trackpad, face buttons, stick placement, and start and select buttons are all without a doubt PlayStation. Kind of making this controller a happy medium for if you wanted your Xbox controller to have more PlayStation or vice versa. And once you get the baby synced up, it emits the power of the Chaos Emeralds with all these pretty lights. But hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen, this controller is more than just a looker. It has a bunch of nifty features packed into this frame. Primarily stuff like these two back pedals that allows you to map macros onto both of them, which is something I found rather quite interesting. I had always seen these uber gamer controllers being pushed onto the market, but I never really personally saw any need for them because I've been playing video games for years and I am pretty comfortable with the inner workings of the games I play, but all that changed when I actually started using it. Because in a few of my tests, like let's say Dark Souls 3, having the ability to map the dodge or Estes flash to one of these back pedals makes maneuvering a hell of a lot easier, because you always will now have more control over the camera just because you don't need to take your thumb off of the stick just to press a face button. And that pretty much transfers over nicely to competitive games as well. In my case, I mainly played PUBG, Apex, and Fortnite for these tests. And I will say without a doubt here, it felt a lot better because of the aforementioned assigning defensive stuff to the back pedals like crouching and sliding, because you'll always be able to keep your surroundings in mind. And to actually prove how well this works, I actually managed to get a kill on PlayStation 4 Apex. And if that isn't proof that this controller is doing something right, then I have no idea what is. And that by far has got to probably be my favorite feature about this controller. My second favorite thing would have to go to the clip for your mobile phone. I'm not really much of a mobile gamer myself, but from time to time when I'm in bed, it's just kind of nice to be able to lie down and pop on a video game from time to time and have a dedicated device that doesn't obscure the screen with a shitty on-screen UI. Only two problems I've mainly encountered while doing tests on mobile phones was primarily input lag on one of my phones, meaning that I think you'll probably need to have a dedicated phone that's catered towards gaming than like what I have. But everything did work perfectly fine when I decided to switch to my other phone. And the second thing is the clip itself requires a lot of pressure to get it on and off, making you really feel like you're gonna break the controller and the clip just trying to get it on and off. Other places I decided to test this puppy out was on my PS4, where I can tell you right now, aside from PC, this is what this controller feels like it was made for, because the touchpad works perfectly, the speaker itself works, and there's motion control still in this controller. So I'm gonna tell you right now that this I think would be a worthwhile replacement for your DualShock 4. Another place I genuinely had to test this thing out was on the PlayStation 3. And sadly, I'm a little bit mixed here, mainly because of one serious problem. In order to properly use this controller like it's a normal DualShock 3, 6-axis and all, it seems that you have to remain plugged into the console, which wouldn't be as big of a problem if the cable that you got with the controller wasn't as short as my attention span. Another issue I was facing on PC is since this controller is an emulation of a DualShock 4, the controller will be treated as such, meaning that some games will work perfectly fine on it and others you'll need to do workarounds for, like downloading programs like DS4 Windows to have the controller work on other launchers and even some emulators. Though I don't think that this is personally something that you can blame the controller for, but what I can blame the controller for is the fact that it's not compatible with Xbox consoles. This is something that I feel alienates a very large portion of a potential audience that this controller can have. And I do realize that the controller emulates a DualShock 4, but if there's any way that future revisions can have compatibility with every single one of these systems, that'd be super awesome. But all in all, I really like this controller. I will say, however, that for the price, having no Xbox support really stings a bit, but for everything else I tried out, I genuinely have no complaints. This thing is definitely going to be my daily driver for whenever I want to play some games on PC. And if you guys are thinking about picking up this controller for yourself after watching this video, the links to both QRD's website and Amazon page for the controller will be listed down below. So thank you all for watching, and thanks again for QRD for supplying me with the controller.